And right now, joining us on the phone is Coach John Calipari. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, guys. A lot of problems are solved in the barbershop. You know that, right?
Definitely.
That's exactly right.
Definitely. Hey, Coach. Sorry to intrude, but I just want to say thank you once again on air. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. And, to me personally, it means a lot. And I know to a lot of other people, especially here with Wildcat Sports Talk, it means a lot. City Cuts Barbershop, it means a lot. Just want to say thank you personally.
Thanks, Ramon. That's nice of you. But, when you ask me to do something, I'm so proud of what you've been able to do and you're striving and what you're trying to do. And knowing what I know about you, you're a gatherer. You're trying to bring people together. That's the hardest thing and what we're all dealing with. I look at it, and it is, as a coach, how can I try to get people to come together to just, like, here's truth. Let's deal with that. We're not, if someone's so far right and someone's so far left, they're out. I don't have time to deal with it. It's kind of like arguing with someone who's drunk. Why would you do that? You don't spend any time on that. So let me just say this. And when this stuff happened, I had to take a step back. And Ramon, I coach hard. I challenge guys. I raise the bar. I don't look at anybody as though they're black and white. You're a player, and this is what's expected. And it's for we challenged you to do, and sometimes in an aggressive way, but it was for you. So as I step back, the one thing I said, I understand that I may never understand, but I'm standing with you. So I'm not, the answers, but from that, it's like, as a basketball coach, who is white? Where is my influence? There are things that are on both sides that are being said and done that, some of it I don't agree with. But you don't have to agree with everything. You don't. If somebody said, well, you're Catholic, how can you consider this, this, and this? And I said, I don't agree with everything, but who has the stance that I have on most things? Well, then we're not always going to agree to everything. So with this, I stepped back, and Ellen and I, Ramon, one of the things, and I know you got some other people with you, but, Ellen's thing is you got to do something. It's not about talk. It's not about showing your anger. What do you do? And the reason she said it is because African-American families have entrusted you with their sons, and that's why all this has happened for you. And it's true. And so what I've tried to do through the Minority Leadership Initiative, the McClendon Minority Leadership Initiative, is give access and opportunity to young, minority, talented people who want the challenge of getting involved in athletics, getting 80 other coaches in, creating opportunity. It's not like, here's a job. No. This is access and opportunity they would not otherwise have. And so now what you do with it is up to you. But now you're going to be mentored. You're not thrown to the wolves. The 6 minority leaders that we're bringing to our campus in athletics, I'm going to also mentor. We're going to do stuff in the community. I want them to rub elbows with people they wouldn't have an opportunity to rub elbows with. That is what I can do. I don't have all the answers to all the ills because this stuff has happened over a long, long period of time. But you got to take small steps. And I think what you guys are doing, which is bringing light to this and say, what can we do? Part of it is you all better be registered to vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Well, that means he's a liberal or that means he's a conservative. No, it doesn't. Who agrees with what you agree to? Not everything, because it's never going to be that way. Mm-hmm. Then you vote for him. How about this? Local elections matter. Local elections matter. Vote. Speak your mind. Don't be going nuts and crazy and you never voted. Well, the people, listen, here, I'm telling my team this now. They did a heck of a video themselves. It was player-driven, not driven by me. I didn't even know if they wanted me in it, and I told them, I'm okay. I will not be offended if you do not want me in the video. And they say, we want you in the video, Coach. We need you to be in the video. So I was in the video. But I was proud of them to be able to step up and speak their mind. But now it's action. Over 1 million views of that video. Mm-hmm. Okay, you inspired some. You may have moved some hearts. But there's others that are really ticked off. So you've done your thing. You've brought light to something that you feel strongly. What's your action? My opinion, you can move minds, but you got to start changing laws. Laws have to change, or not. You guys, you're not old enough. Do you remember Rodney King?
Yes, sir.
Well, that happened 30 years ago.
Right.
I mean, something has to change by laws, and that means you have to vote, and you have to be active, and you have to. But anyway, that's where I am standing on all this stuff. So I don't know if you guys have questions for me, but.
Well, Coach, and again, I want to thank you for coming on. My name is Adam, and we're with Wildcat Sports Talk, and I wanted to thank you first for coming on, but I wanted to kind of echo a little bit of what you were saying, you know, and we've talked about this since we started this morning, and the whole time when your players released that video, Coach, you know, a lot of folks, I mean, man, our fan base, it just blew me away, and then I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, these guys, they're kids, Coach.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. If you looked at Twitter, okay, it was 80% positive from what I was told because I don't really look at responses. And Snapchat, why was the Facebook so nasty?
Yeah.
It's older people. Now, I'm not saying old people have this, that, but it's a fact. Here's how you all grew up. You grew up listening to music by black artists. You grew up loving black actors because you didn't look at them. You just said that guy is an unbelievable actor or actress. Didn't matter what their color was. But that's not the case. That's when I watched the protest, the peaceful protest. The looting and stuff, that can't happen, okay? Because it's taking away from peaceful protest. And when you saw the peaceful protest, which is a right to every American, there were young, there were old, there were white, there were black, there were brown. We all saw what we saw. You can't take away what we saw. Mm-hmm. And everybody says this can't be right. What's popular isn't always right, and what's right isn't always popular. So for me, I'm going to defend my players. My hope is if they get involved in anything, they know what that stands for. In other words, people are going to want my players at the front of the line for a protest because they're seen. Great. Do you know what you're protesting for? Do you agree with it? If you don't agree with everything, if there's things that they're saying that you say, well, I don't agree with that at all, well, then you shouldn't be in that line. And so just making sure they're informed is my job. And when you watch that video, really smart, engaged, and let me say this, members hurting. Not some hurt more than others based on where they grew up and what they've seen. But every one of them knows, I think we all know, there's something wrong. Can we fix it? I don't have the answers. I'm talking about access and opportunity, which that affects systemic racism. And if you don't think there's systemic racism, it's really hard to even keep the conversation going. Tell me why there's only X amount of black football coaches and black basketball coaches that are head coaches at the major colleges. Why do you guys think that? You think there's not talented, smart, great leaders?
That's a good question, Coach.
That are black? You don't think they are? You do. So if you do, well, why aren't there more? There's not enough black ADs. You're going to hire who you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Just how it is. And there are others that'll step out and they'll say, you know what, I'm going to do what's right. I always come back to C.M. Newton. And let me just say this. C.M. Newton, in the early 70s, late 60s, started 5 black players at Alabama. They had the cross burning in his front yard. I mean, where's the courage? And I say this, would I have courage to do that? I don't know. Everybody, oh, Cal, you would be the first. I don't know. The second thing is, if I thought that this minority leadership initiative was so important, why didn't I do it 10 years ago? We had the same issues 10 years ago or 20 years ago. What brought this to a head, and why didn't I have the courage to say, I'm going to do this, and there are going to be some people that are not going to be happy, but you know what? If we can make a change in one area, and I believe these minority leaders are going to be in business too, so they're going to be trained in athletics, in different areas of athletics, but I think businesses are going to come in and say, I'm stealing this one, I'm stealing this young lady, I'm stealing this young man, and they're going to come and work for my company. We have 500 applicants for about 20 jobs right now across the country. And by the end, when this slows down for this year, we're going to end up with about 30 jobs. Next year, it'll be 80 jobs. My hope is the next year it goes to Division II and Division III, and we're at a couple hundred jobs. And it's training and giving guys and ladies access and opportunity that they would not have. That's what this is. This isn't like we're going to give you a job. These are being paid. Are you ready for this? Coaches are paying for these interns, which are basically their entry jobs, but they're 1 and 2 year training. And coaches are paying. I mean, significant. Like, these aren't $2,500 a month. I would say minorityleaders.org, if anybody's listening and they want to apply. There are 500 applications in already. My guess is we'll get near 1,000 applications for 25 to 30 jobs. And you know what? That means they're very hard to get. And that means you're going to get very talented. And we're going to get stars that are going to be walking through this. And now we've asked coaches to commit to it for 4 years. Because it's not about optics. It's not me doing something or weak coaches. And it's black coaches, white coaches, football coaches. Stoopsy's involved. Nick Saban's involved. There's baseball coaches involved. I got a call from a tennis coach. People know, wow, we can have an effect on our little corner of the world. Not changing the world, but I'd say this, we can change what area we're in, and that's anybody else listening.
Hey, Coach, my name's Tim, and I also want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I wanted to also say, before I get into anything else, that I interviewed you about 8 years ago. You were doing the tour around Kentucky with the National Championship Trophy, and, I was a sports writer in Corbin, and I got to do a one-on-one interview with you. And first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for being very, very kind during that interview.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
And,
we need to do another tour. It's time to do another tour, isn't it?
I think it is. It is, Coach. Definitely. It is time for another one. I'll tell you what, we started Wildcat Sports Talk late January. Adam jumped on board, and then we just started interviewing former players. We got Ramon Harris, and he loved what we were doing. He wanted to be a part of it, and we brought him on board. And, man, it's just been awesome because we've met a lot of players that, even that you've coached and players that came before you. And, all this stuff came up, and we thought, you know what, we've got a platform. It might even be a small platform, but we're just getting started as Wildcat Sports Talk. And But we've made friends with these players, and we didn't want to just sit back and let happen what's happening. And so we'd planned this for a couple months, and it just turned out the timing was right. And I just wanted to say, man, that we support what the players are doing, and in the video, and we hate that there was some backlash on the video and there was some negativity.
There's always, Tim, going to be backlash. There's always going to be. That's what our country's about. You knew when they did it, and there's people that'll say I'll never give, and then you look, the guy gave $7 or gave nothing. I'll never give again. You never gave before. So there's a lot of politics in this, and there shouldn't be. This isn't political. I don't care where you are. People don't know. They'll say Cal's this and Cal's liberal and Cal's conservative, and they don't know. I'm about people. That's what I'm about. If you care about people, I'm supporting you. And they say, well, I really do. Well, you're taking away this, and what about education? Because it's our only hope to really change this. How do we make it more fair? How do you do health care? Why in communities, and this could be white and black. What about Eastern Kentucky? What about the health care in Eastern Kentucky? It's the same thing. Now all of a sudden, you die earlier, you're sicker, you can't get jobs, you're off the work. How do you, there's so many issues that come back to people, not power, that, what we're trying to do here and what you're doing, it's right. I don't have the answers of what it means. Let me say this. I believe in police. There are good guys and bad guys. I'm not saying defund the police. I'm not sure that's the answer. But someone needs to present us with something that makes sense. Like, we can't have people shot and killed. You just can't over a parking stop or and again, you have to understand the other side being they may have done something that led to this, and this, but again, isn't there another way to do what we're doing? Maybe there isn't. Well, let's talk. And the communication and the dialogue, and you can't be so set in your ways that you're drunk. You're not hearing. There are people listening to me that have already turned off the radio. I'm not listening to that. and I'm fine. I mean, it's look, I'm speaking from the heart, and what I believe is right. If someone can convince me that I'm not right, and it makes sense to me, now again, I'll probably question this, that, and the other. Tell me this. I may come back and say, you know what? I like it that way. I think that's good. I'm not sure, just to throw one out, that there shouldn't be a safe haven with Corona. You guys know what I mean by that? The safe haven being, you can't sue a hospital, you can't sue your neighbor, a nurse, over Corona. You can't sue. If we have, this will be the new mesothelioma. You remember that one where there were thousands of law firms that started to get money from that disease. And that's all they do. They don't do anything else. They knew there was $1 billion sitting there, and they were going to get a piece of it. And here's what it'll be. If you got Corona and you thought you got it unlawfully or this, that, and the other, or this, that, I'm here. And if we don't win, you don't have to pay. I already know what it's coming out. I don't know if there's a better way of doing this. People need protected, but we're going through so much stuff right now. How do we deal with that? How you guys think of that? How do we you have the social issues we know we have to deal with. We know it. How do we deal with it? How do we come together? I would like to be that guy that helps people come together, but it appears right now at some point people have to be so out of it that they say we got to come together. And then we come together and we figure this out. We may not be there yet. Both sides may not be there yet. But we got to get to a point where people feel we need to come together and stop it. And I'm going to say this to you guys here. Ramon,
yes, sir.
The far left, it's way out there, and the far right, it's way out there. Forget about it. You're out there. You deal with what you're dealing with. The rest of us are going to come together and make this a better place for our children and for our children's children. And what we're dealing with right now, we better. What's happening to the economy because of Corona, we better. What's happening with social injustice, we better. Going forward with all the stuff that we've got to deal with, if this country's not together, we're going to have issues. And again, I want to get back to, I just want to coach basketball. But you know what? I've been thrust into a position that my job has become more than just getting on the court and coaching basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I want, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Coach, we want to get back to talking about basketball, don't we, Ramon?
Yeah, definitely. I got my all my odds on the blue and white.
And
definitely.
Coach, also we got Ramel Bradley here in studio. I thought I'd let you know that.
Good. Hey, Ramel, how are you?
Hey, Coach.
Much love.
Coach, before we let you go, we have Dale here. He wants to give you a special message.
Hey, Coach Cal. I'm Londale Blackford, the owner of City Cuts Barbershop. And I just wanted to personally thank you for being part of this. We trying to do big things around here in the city. I take care of a lot of your boys, you know what I'm saying? I try to be positive role models, get the class, do the right thing. I do a lot of work with the community. Also, OMAC, Operation Making a Change. And the barbershop is 365 Waller Avenue, right around the corner from you. And I just wanted to thank you for being part of this. We trying to make history, and with you coming in and stepping in, it means a lot for us in the community.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate what you do. And I'm going to say this: a lot gets done in the barbershop. A lot of ideas are thrown out at the barbershop.
Absolutely.
And how about some arguments and talking loud and people not agreeing? But you know what? But they leave with a hug. Like, I don't agree. Do you ever talk about who's the best basketball player ever? Oh my gosh! Go ahead, start that conversation. Start that one. But it's argue and fight, but then you walk out saying this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. I like him though. He's a good guy. He's just wrong again.
Right.
And that's like I said, I've sat in the barbershop. Matter of fact, I recruited a kid in the barbershop. I didn't get him either, but we sat there and it went back and forth. And I walked out saying, that's like the way it used to be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the barbershops were that way.
Hey, maybe Dale can help you, Coach, with your barbershop.
Now we go get our hair washed and we got it. You know what I'm saying? It's a different deal. It's a different deal there. But you keep it going. Happy for what you're doing. I appreciate you taking care of the guys and talking good things to them.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, we wanted to thank you again for coming on and talking with us here on Wildcat Sports Talk. I know Ramon absolutely appreciates it, and you've helped us out big time with this, so we really appreciate it.
Okay. Good luck, guys. I wish you well in your endeavor, too.
Hey, much
Thank you,
love
Coach.
to you,
See you,
Coach.
Ramon.
All right, Coach. I'll
See you,
talk to you
Ramon.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, folks,